Today we're picking out Secret Santa kits for the Fabric Café team.
We're pulling names at random. Let's find out who it's going to be.
Hi, it's Fran Morgan.
And Hannah with Fabric Café.
Quilts are such a wonderful gift anytime, but especially at the holidays.
But sometimes it can be really difficult to pick out fabric for someone specific.
So we challenged ourselves to pick kits for some of our team members at Fabric Café and walk you through the process. We want you to be confident picking out quilts for the loved ones in your life.
But we have added a twist. We are going to pull names at random out of this hat to see who we'll be picking the kits for. So, Fran, you want to pull the first name?
Yes, okay. Ooh, so many. Okay, let's pull one. Okay. I got Jake.
Oh!
So let's find out a little bit more about Jake and his interest.
Hi, I'm Jake and I'm the photographer for Fabric Café. My favorite colors are black, red, and blue. No particular order on those. Way too many hobbies. My top ones though, I love listening to music, especially old school punk music. I love film photography, especially street photography. It's really fun for me. I also love to get really nerdy with it. I like to paint miniatures for tabletop gaming. I'd say definitely an old school punk aesthetic. Definitely super nerdy, super chill.
Now this is the Streetcar pattern, and this was chosen for Jake. And Jake really likes street photography and really graphic elements. And we felt like that this kind of had a little bit of that old-fashioned film look with the little squares on the side of the film strip. And it gave us a really nice place for a bold graphic element here in this square. So all of those elements together just kind of said, I'm for Jake. So that's why we chose this pattern. Also, very simple. It is going to go together so fast, and we have some great fabric. Let's check it out. So Hannah, we learned lots of good stuff about Jake in the interview, and we learned that his favorite colors were black, red, and blue, and he kind of likes the punk nerd chill kind of vibe, which I think really describes him. He's very creative though, very artsy. That's partly why we chose the Streetcar pattern and the fabric that we did, because it kind of has that artsy vibe that's a little bit edgy. And it kind of just seemed to work, I think.
And it makes me think of street art like this because it's a little bit graffiti almost.
I agree with you, and it's kind of cool because our fabric number one is black and white. It has the words imagine more, and then it has the reverse image of the words imagine more, which is super cool, and I can kind of see that that's that little edge and that twist, you know, that makes it extra special. So this is our focus fabric. It is going to go in the big block here that you see. And then our number two is a really cool kind of soft white with a little gray dash on it just to give it some texture. And that is going to go everywhere this white is here. And then for our number three, we have this really boldly textured red. Now it is a tone on tone with some really dark tones and some light tones. I really like it. It's
adds a very nice pop.
Yes. And that is going to go where you see this print here in our number three position, and of course on the border and binding. Now I think this is going to be great. And you know, whenever I look at this fabric, it makes me think of him because he's always wearing these really cool, funky, like band t-shirts and different things like that. And I just think it works. It just has that same feel.
And they're usually black and white. So it's kind of like the graphics on his shirts.
And love the pop of red on there. And as you can see, it's really bold. It has that graphic element in that number one position that I think is awesome. Of course, the number two sets it all apart.
And I love how it just has a tiny bit of texture in it. So it doesn't distract from the number one, but it adds a lot of a little contrast to it to just support it.
I really, really like it. It's a very bold, and I can see Jake having this.
Yeah,
definitely.
I could too. Yeah.
So let's get you the kit information. It is called Ink Imagination, and the pattern is called Streetcar. All right, we have the magic Secret Santa hat. All right.
I got Stephanie.
Oh,
Ooh. Now you guys, when you call in, Stephanie is the person that helps you out. So let's find out some more details about her personality, and her style.
Hi, my name is Stephanie, and I do customer service here at Fabric Café. I love blue, green, and purple. You could say I'm a cool shades girl. I love to cook and sew and garden and play with my dog Max, and I generally enjoy nature. My style is very eclectic. My house is full of antiques and art, and I have little vignettes around my house with objects of the art that I have collected from around the world, like French doll heads from the 18th century and tiger water guns, and my tin collection, my seashell collection. It's a crazy mix-up with some chinoiserie tied into all of that.
So when picking a pattern for Stephanie, she talked a lot about vintage collections and things that she had. So we went with the heritage pattern, and it kind of has this nice detail right here that reminds me of old vintage furniture, you know, with all of the detail on the corners and things, and it adds so much interest to the quilt. Plus, we have a nice space here where we can show off a larger print and it'll look stunning. And it just has this nice movement down the quilt with a lot of detail and intricacies, but super easy to put together with strip piecing. So let's put it on the table and see what fabric we picked for her. So Stephanie mentioned that her favorite colors are blues, greens, purples, you know, a cool shades kind of gal, she said.
Yeah.
So we went more blue and green. She also talked about her collections that she has in her house. And the one that really stuck out to me was seashell collection.
Okay, that is so interesting. And I think that when you have a collection like seashells, not only is it beautiful, but it brings back memories. And I think that that is so cool. And those are very special to each of us, I know.
Oh, definitely.
And so I think it's very cool that you picked out kind of a ocean theme to help her remember those very special moments.
Well, and you know, and that's a great thought too. If you're struggling to pick fabric for somebody, do they have a collection? If they do, try to find something that kind of evokes those memories or reflects that collection. Because, it brings back all of those sweet memories.
Yes.
Oh, what a good idea, Fran.
Yeah, I love this fabric.
Yes. All right, so for our number one, it's this kind of aquatic, fancy swirl with all of these little scallopy prints. It's gorgeous. We've got these nice blues and greens on a black background. And this is going to go everywhere you see our floral here. Now, this quilt is a 1 block. So we do have this really nice space to show off that print, but I do recommend not doing a directional.
Yes.
Because you are going to turn this every which way and it would get flip-flopped around. For our number 2, this is what really brought me to the seashells and the seaside. We have this kind of aqua spiral that look like seashells.
I think it does. I really do. Like the end of a conch shell or something like that. It's very pretty.
And this is going to go everywhere you see this green. So we'll get a nice section of it here to show it off. And then our number 3, it's like the waves.
It is. It's like the ocean. Oh, I can hear it in the seashell now.
Maybe we need to go to the beach. We need to go to the beach.
We need a beach.
It's getting too cold here. I need the beach. And this is going to go everywhere you see the blue here.
It's beautiful.
All right, so let's check out an image of this on the screen. And I love how that little pop of that teal in those little corners.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it just makes the whole block shine.
Love it. I love it. It is so, so pretty in these colors. And I think it's really neat. Like you said, those little pops right there in the little like little 9 patch, I guess you would say
Yeah,
that is
almost.
almost. It's not quite, but it's like those little squares just add little interest, connecting it all together like water is streaming from one place to another.
Yes, perfect. All right, this kit is called A Traveler's Treasures, and it's using the heritage pattern from our 1-block 3-yard quilts book.
Okay, my turn again.
Ta-da!
I can't wait to see whose name I pull. All right. Nadalie. Oh, fun.
That will be fun.
Oh, I've seen some of the things that Nadalie has picked out. I'm so interested to see what she's going to say when we pick something for her. Let's see what Nadalie has to say.
I'm Nadalie, and I'm the inventory manager for Fabric Café. My absolute favorite color is green, obviously, but I also love blues and blacks as well. Ooh, I enjoy playing video games. I enjoy bird watching with my cats. And third favorite hobby, probably napping. It's a really big hobby for me. When I'm not working in the warehouse, probably classic vintagey, but also probably nerdy and whimsical.
Now, this is the vintage pattern, and we chose it for Nadalie because Nadalie likes a combination of vintage flair as well as a little bit of whimsy on the side. So we thought this was perfect. Now, this pattern has a nice 6-inch square here, which is perfect for a 6-inch panel block, or you could use regular fabric, just yardage there. And then it creates this kind of crisscross lattice effect behind the block so that it gives it this really interesting kind of architectural vintage feel. So let's put this on the table and see which fabric we chose for Nadalie. So Nadalie mentioned that she liked whimsical kind of animals and art as well as a vintage style. And her hobbies included video games and bird watching. And she also really, really loves her kitties and sitting with her kitties. So I think that's really cool. And so we were able to pull something together that has the most adorable little animals on it. And we have that sweet kitty laying there all rolling and loving. This fun frog. And I think it's really cool that we were able to find a fabric with a frog because she also said that green was her favorite color.
Right.
So we're able to get that green in there and all these other happy guys that are just so much fun. So this is our focus fabric for Nadalie's kit, and it is going in this block here on the vintage pattern. Now, this pattern that you see, it works both ways. It can work with a 6-inch panel block like we see here on this quilt, or you can use a running yardage like we're gonna do with Nadalie's quilt, which is perfect.
Yeah. And if you like the panel patterns, we actually have 6 new panel patterns that are out right now. So if you want to see some more of those, be sure to watch our video where we show all 6 of them.
They're amazing. Okay, so that goes in our 6-inch blocks. Our number 2 fabric, love this. It's kind of a really light gold creamy color with lots of texture in it. And that is going to go where you see the off-white here. And I think this picks up the colors of the animals so well.
Yeah, like the little foxes and things.
I really, really do. Then we have to get Nadalie's favorite color in here, okay? And that is the green. And that is our number 3, and I think it looks so great with the frogs and everything else going on. And that is going to go where you see the black here and on the little joining parts here, and then on the border and our binding. And that's going to give us a really nice anchor and pop of color that I think is going to be perfect and frame these darling, darling animals so well. I love the green.
It's so pretty. It adds so much contrast.
It really, really does. And those animals are a darling in that block. I think it just goes together so well. This is a really fun pattern. Goes together really quick and has that nice 6-inch block so you can put a fabric like this in it. It really turned out great. So our kit information on this one, it is called Pixel Pals, and it is our vintage pattern.
All right, so let's see who I get next. Okay. Mel.
Oh,
Okay, so in case you don't know, Mel is Fran's husband. So, this is gonna be an interesting challenge. Let's see if we can pull a kit that both Mel and his wife would approve of.
Hi, I'm Mel Morgan, and I'm the Operations and Accounting Manager for Fabric Café. My favorite color is blue, but green is a close second. In my spare time, I like to ride my mountain bike, but I also like amateur architecture and gaming. I'm classy blue jean casual.
Such a hard question.
So Mel mentioned that he was interested in architecture. So we immediately thought, oh, geometric. We need to have a pattern with a strong geometric kind of architectural theme to it. So what better than high rise? We've got this really strong movement up like diagonally across the quilts, and it's all with these strong lines. It's actually a 1-block quilt as well. You just make the block in 2 different colorways and turn them all around to get this really interesting effect. Looks great in all sorts of fabric. So let's see what we picked for Mel. So Mel in his interview, which I'm sure no surprise to Fran, his favorite colors were blue and then green. And he also talked about architecture, like we mentioned at the quilt, and kind of a casual blue jean style. So, so I was thinking something kind of like a blueprint almost for the fabric.
Oh, that's
so that it
cool.
would kind of take that architecture theme. So we went with this really textural geometric print, but it's in blues and greens, his favorite colors, and kind of makes me think of, you know, if you were looking at a blueprint.
Yeah, I think that's very cool.
And this is gonna go everywhere. We see this polka dot right here. And then our number 2, keeping with that geometric, we've got some squares, and they're in these green tones on a cream background. So it picks up all these greens in here. This fabric actually reminds me of a shirt that Mel wears up here sometimes. It's like a button up with little squares on it.
Yep.
So I thought, oh, that's perfect.
Looks like Matt.
And then for our number 3, we've got a dark blue, picking up that favorite color and going with kind of a denim feel.
And I like it because it kind of grounds everything. It's
And that's going to go everywhere you see this. Oh, and I didn't tell you where you were going to see this. This will be in the light color here. I think it has so much movement. And this pattern really lends itself to smaller prints, more textural things too, because there's so much movement in the quilt. There's still so much interest.
I agree. And that's a really good point because sometimes quilts have a more simple piecing and they require a bold print, where this one has some really dynamic piecing, which really draws your eye, and so it can take more simple prints. And you know, I think that's really good for some of the men in our lives because they like more, like Mel likes that architectural, that structure, and really enjoys that. So this will probably really appeal to him.
Yeah, here's hoping. All right, that kit information is Everyday Angles, and it's the high-rise pattern from our book, Go Bold with 3-Yard Quilts. All right, next up.
Yep, my next one will be for Jessica. Now,
You'll probably have an easy time with that one.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. So Jessica and I work pretty closely together. She's my assistant, and I think we might have some ideas for her already, but let's hear from her and what she has to say.
My name is Jessica. I'm Fran's design assistant, and I do all those amazing quilt renderings you guys see. Right now, it's more blues, greens, and teals. Reading, playing with my kids, and sleeping. I like open, airy spaces, clean, simplistic, organic textures, and plants.
Now we chose Jumping Jack for Jessica. Now this is a great pattern. We have a nice big block here, and we have 2 different colors in the block. So this is a 1 block, and we've just reversed, switched the colors in the 2 different blocks there. Very easy to put together. Nice big space that can accommodate directional fabric, which is even better. One of the other things that Jessica mentioned is that she liked macrame, and we thought that this kind of looked like it was kind of knotted together a little bit the way macrame is. So it's perfect. She loves this pattern. It kind of takes the influences of things that she loves all in a quilt. So let's check out the fabric. Now, Jessica mentioned that she really likes the calm greens, the blues, the teals, and creams. And I think her office really reflects that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, she also, she likes the organic textures, like the macrame that she has, and just those like stones and natural textures that she really enjoys. So when you're making a quilt for someone that loves all of those organic looks, I think that just picking a nice organic fabric like this works. So it almost looks like stone or water or just one of the elements, and I think it's very cool. And it's in the colorway that she really loves.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just got the greens, the blues, the aquas, and everything.
So much texture.
So much texture. So in our focus fabric, that is going to go here in this block right here. And guys, this is a 1 block quilt. So you know how we say about 1 block quilts, once you do 1 block, you're like, oh, I got it. And we just keep going.
sailing.
So you make half your blocks in one colorway and half in the other. So it makes it super easy. For our number 2, to keep the contrast, we went with a nice kind of very light beigey cream. And it has the lights and darks, so it's got a little bit of texture, not quite as strong as our focus, but it's going to give us the contrast in this area here where you see the aqua on this quilt. And then for our number 3, now,
I really like this one.
oh my goodness, it almost looks like raindrops on something.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what it
I
looks
think
like.
it looks like if you had a piece of stone and the rain fell on it, the little raindrops that the sun is shining on.
So it's like sparkling just a little bit
It's
when you look
very
at it in the
cool.
light.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And so that will be in our second block here with the smaller print. And of course, that contrast is going to be there. Now, I love it when we go with more of a monochromatic, like our 2 and 3 are the same colors. What I really like about this is a larger scale texture and this is a little bit smaller scale texture. So it keeps the interest between the two.
And it keeps them from competing too.
Yes, yes. And it's got the natural organics, the colors, and we know she loves this pattern. So we're hoping we nailed this one.
Hopefully.
I really love these textures together. And I can really see how the larger texture and the smaller texture play together
Absolutely.
so well. And then that cream, just that beigey cream just really helps the greens pop.
Yes, and that light little raindrop adds so much contrast and soothing serenity to it.
I really like this quilt. It is so, so, so pretty. Okay, so before we tell you the kit information, I want to point out really quick the quilt that is behind us. This is Irish Christmas, and oh my goodness, it's got to be one of my favorites from our book, Quick Christmas 3-Yard Quilts, because it just has that really classic traditional Irish chain to it, beautiful colors, and it's just a great pattern for textural prints,
Yeah.
kind of
Oh,
like this.
yeah.
I could see these fabrics
It would be
in that.
gorgeous.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It really, really would. So be sure and check that out. Now, let's get you the kit information on Jessica's kit. It is Teal Tranquility. It is our jumping jack pattern from the Double Focus 3-Yard Quilts book.
All right, it is my turn. Let us see who I get. Delaina.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh, so sweet. Okay.
Now, you guys don't see Delaina very much on the videos. She's been on one, but let's go back and meet her. She's in shipping, so let's see what her interests are.
Delaina McCoy, and I work in order pulling. I pull and ship all the orders. Yellow, pink, and purple. I do. I spend most of my time with my family, my husband and 2 boys, and we have 7 animals. So we spend a lot of time outside hiking and campfires and stuff like that. Bohemian, kind of hippie-ish, just comfortable.
We chose the Amore pattern for Delaina for a couple reasons. One, she talked about how much she likes to spend time with her family and her animals. So we thought we wanted to pick something that had that kind of emotion, that love. So we picked Amore with the hearts. And then she also mentioned how much she likes retro feels and 60s and Bohemian. And this kind of has a retro flair to the pattern with the motif in there. The pattern goes together super easy. The heart is made with some stitch and flip to make the top, 2 half square triangles, and then this block is made with strip assemblies, so it goes together super fast. So Delaina mentioned her favorite colors were yellow, pink, and purple, which are really sweet and soft. And she also talked about the 60s and big florals, that she really likes that Bohemian style. So we went with a nice floral for our number 1 that has kind of a retro flair to it. And it has all of those favorite colors that she mentioned. We've got some pink, we've got some yellow in there. And this one will go in our hearts, but we're also gonna get a little funky, and we're gonna show you 2 images with this as our number 1 and with it swapped as our number 3.
Ah, you rebel you, Hannah.
Well, I learned from the best. But before we get to that, I'll go ahead and show you all of the fabrics, and then we'll talk about those. Then for our number 2, we picked up the green from our focus with all of these different leaves. And it's got this really small, textural, kind of interlocking geometric design.
It's very interesting. It's a little different than what I've seen before. It's very nice.
Yeah, and I like that it's a very soft color, so it'll have a lot of interest, but it will not take away from our number 1 fabric.
Yeah, the contrast will still be there, which is perfect.
Yes. So that's going to be our number 2, and that'll be everywhere you see this white cream here. And then for our number 3, we picked up the pink, and we have this amazing pink floral. It's like little flower buds that picks up all of these. It's like mini versions of that.
And it is definitely has that retro feel. I mean, it really, really does. I love those together.
Yeah, it's so fun. And this is going to be everywhere you see this pink. And I think it looks so sweet. I think it works so well with the floral in the heart.
I agree.
And framing that pink floral in the block. It has a lot of contrast to it.
It really does. The green is the perfect background for it. It really, really is. It went together so beautifully.
Now, what would happen though if we wanted our hearts to be pink? We're gonna swap our fabrics 1 and 3. So we have a nice big block for our big floral, but then we have our sweet heart with the little pink. And I think it turned out so beautiful.
Oh, wow. You know, it is really hard to choose which one I like best. This is a great example of you can move things around, get creative with it.
I think this is one of my favorite patterns to change fabric positions around on, because it always looks so good, whether your focus is in the heart or if it's in the other block. The kit information on this one is Bohemian Garden, and is using the Amore pattern from Go Bold with 3-yard quilts. So how do you think we did? Were there any kits that you would have matched differently?
If you're looking for more tips on how to pick out quilts for your loved ones, watch the video that pops up.
Happy quilting.